Now, Wayne, if you had to describe the automotive industry with just one word, what would it be and why?
One word.
One word.
Gee, that's a big test at the end of a session, isn't it? Let's go with innovative. And I say that because, I think about a company like ours that's been around from the start of automobiles in Australia and the constant innovation and change over 100 years. I bore everyone with the history, but there's been a lot of change. And our business, our suppliers, our customers have been at the forefront of challenge themselves and embracing change all the way through that 100 years. And I think we're in for a really exciting phase in the industry right now.
Absolutely. I think the rate of innovation and development in change in our industry is accelerating so quickly. The future's exciting.
Yeah, it couldn't be more exciting. And as I said, there'll still be the traditional roles that we need to fill within the industry, that the age and profile of the car park is such that the internal combustion engine vehicles will be around for many, many years. We've got a really healthy car culture in Australia and New Zealand, so people will still tinker with their race cars or their rally cars or their speedway cars or their four-wheel drive vehicles or resto vehicles. All that stuff that'll keep going for decades to come. That's not going anywhere.
It's a safe industry to get involved in.
And then there's all this new wave of technology, which can create a whole wave of new job opportunities for people, new skills to be developed. Like, there's nothing stopping any of us in the industry from going off and doing training courses right now to embrace those new technologies and start to get ahead of the curve.
It's that constant training again.
100%. Yeah.
So there's a lot of change on our doorstep in the industry. How's GPC keeping up with that?
Well, look, we benefit from being a global organisation for one. So we're not just here in Australia and New Zealand trying to analyse what's going on. We've got businesses in North America, Canada, and all through Europe. So we get a bit of a unique advantage in that we're networked well across the world. So, and as different countries evolve at different paces, we can learn from each other. So that's pretty helpful. We always try to take a longer term view and gather as much information and data as we can around what's occurring right now and what's anticipated to occur in the future, and then build our plans around those emerging trends. Some of them are clearer than others. So what you have to do when you're building a longer range plan is try to work out, there's always a range of options that you can take or investments you can make to take your business on a particular journey. I think in the current environment, there's some of those strategic choices that are a bit clearer than others. So you can probably double down on those and get after those with a bit more certainty. And there's others that the rate of change could be a bit fluxy, if that makes sense. And we've got to just be considerate of that and be willing to learn and adapt. So, we might decide to do a certain thing, bring a certain type of product or service to the market, and it might work tremendously well, and others may not. So we've got to make sure that we're agile enough to learn and adapt.
So you've got to have a foot in both camps. You've got to, I guess, it sounds like you're saying there's a safer option, but you've always got to be pushing the limit and being exploratory.
Yeah, well, I think that's right. And that's what, if you see companies that are really innovative, they don't bet the whole farm on all the innovative things. They've got a really solid foundation that their business is built upon over many, many years, but they're experimenting with multiple different things and trying to stay on the leading edge of innovation. And we do some of that ourselves, but we also have partners that do that. So, it's not always about what you do in your business. It might be that you're partnering up with someone else that's actually better equipped to innovate in that area, but you're partnering with them on those things and learning and adapting your business model to that partnership experience.
Now, we talked about how technology is evolving and changes in the vehicle car park. How do businesses such as Repco keep up with changes such as that?
Yeah, well, I guess, again, you are continually scanning the market for information, and there's lots of information available if you go looking for it around. You just jump on Google or Chat GPT and type in a question and you'll get an answer around someone's opinion on EV or ADAS or any other technology. There's hosts of reports that are written. So there's lots of information you can consume to get a view. As I said, we leverage our global network as well and our supplier network to try and stay abreast of what we anticipate coming down the road. It's not all clear though. Like there are new vehicle parts, new technologies, data packs and tools and equipment that's required for these vehicles, and it will evolve. I think the rate of change will probably speed up over time, but it's about staying in touch with what are the things that are occurring elsewhere in the world, listening to your customers, what are they seeing in their workshops each day of the week, and then responding really to the customer need. And, sometimes our customers don't always know what they need either. So if we've got learning from overseas, we can talk to our customers about that, share that with them, test it out, and then test and experiment with some products or services in the market and see what the adoption rate's like.
Yeah, and in terms of customer and consumer behaviour, a lot's changed in 102 years. What do you guys do to keep pace with that in terms of meeting consumers where they're at?
Yeah, I think we've got to stay in touch with the consumers. The consumers are definitely changing. Like my daughters have grown up in a digital world that I didn't grow up in. So the way they consume information and media and, connect with the workshop owner is completely different to what I've experienced. And I think, some of our major customers are really in touch with that and looking at companies like Repco for support to how we all connect up the supply chain and communicate with the ultimate car owner. So we've got to continue to learn and adapt our systems and our integrated data so that we can actually provide the consumer with the information they need at their fingertips. That's evolved a lot. As I said before, we've got a strong car culture here, so I'm not envisioning a world where people don't own a car and they only ride share, or I think there'll certainly be ride share and there'll be vehicles you can hire for a day and all of those sorts of things, but I think there'll still be a strong car culture here, and car ownership will remain quite strong. So I don't see that changing tremendously in the near term. But I think, look, the bottom line is just stay close to your customer, observe what's going on around the rest of the world, and try and learn and adapt along the way. You can't just lock in on one thing and go with it and expect it's going to pan out perfectly fine. We're all going to have to adapt.
Adjust course as you go.
100%.